Good afternoon. It's been a while since I've put up any videos. Still trying to figure out how I want to do this, and I don't want to be like every other reviewer out there, but at the same time, there's only so much you can do when you're reviewing knives to make it weird or interesting. I try to think of the things that when I'm watching knife reviewers, I wish that they would talk about or at least go over. So, I got some new knives here, and I'm going to go over both of them a little bit, but I want to start with the CMB Explorer. I just picked this up recently, and I have to say I am so impressed with the knife itself. I got the black micarta black washed version. It comes in a couple different versions. There's a blue micarta and a green micarta, and they all come basically with either a satin or a black wash blade finish. So I don't know, I always have a thing for black wash blades. I'm not a big fan of PVD itself, but when it gets a black wash, and in this case the way this actually just it kind of roughens it up but also gives it some character, I just love that. I don't know, it's just great. But let's go over, got this off of Atlantic Knife. Great place to shop, great deals. This one was sub $50 total price. They had a code going, so normally manufacturer is $70. They're selling on the site right now for $59. So actually a really good deal on CMB Made Knives if you want to go there. But let's talk a little bit about this. So this is one of their newer versions with a crossbar lock. Overall length on this is about 7.8 inches. The blade length itself is about 3.39, about 3.4 total. The blade width or blade thickness is actually about 3.2 millimeters. And the handle length, 4.49. So it's actually a decent handle length. I wear large to extra large gloves, and it's an easy 4-finger grip, no problem. You can kind of choke up if you want to. It's not a true finger choil, but it's decent enough. Crossbar lock is snappy. Now I went ahead and updated it. This does, I don't know if you can really see it in there. Let me see if I can get you the actual, take a look at the setup there. Let's go ahead. Gotta get a flashlight here, otherwise it just doesn't quite work. So let's see, I think you can see it in there. Let's go ahead and open it up, makes it a little bit easier to see. Not sure. Okay, so there you go. It does have adjustable spring tension. You have 3 adjustment points. When mine came, it was in that middle slot. I actually increased the tension just slightly to the first spot. That did help. It actually made it just a little more snappy feeling. It wasn't mushy. Like, this is not, I have a Miguron Moyarl in the crossbar lock, and that thing is frankly just, it is so mushy and soft that this was not like that coming out, but moving it up actually did just make it that much better. I actually really prefer like CGRB's crossbar locks, so what they have on the Prado, etc. The tight, basically it's not a detent because it doesn't have a detent ball, but it just feels really good. And this, it is great. As you can see there, it does have an amazing sharpening choil. The plunge grind really far back. You're going to get a ton of life out of this. I will remark that mine came, it wasn't exactly dull, but it definitely wasn't sharp. I'm not the greatest sharpener in the world, but I went ahead and put about an 18-degree edge on there. Updated it because I like mine a little sharper, and this, wasn't quite cutting it when it came out of the box. But other than that, it's 14C 28N. You can't really see it. It's basically right up there. Maybe you can see it now. I love 14C28N. It sharpens so easily. It maintains really well. It's just a great all-around budget steel. I've never been disappointed with 14C. So, great thing. I will say, having taken it apart once, I don't know what it's going to take for companies to actually do this on the regular basis, but I know that there's a branding thing. You want to have your branding. This is a great looking pivot, unlike Civivi, when they do their black parts, they'll actually black out their pivot. So if you have the satin finish, this will be in silver. When it's in black, it's in black. Come on, Civivi, listen. But the problem is, for a crossbar lock in particular, anyone who has taken one apart or done maintenance on them, they can be a little bit of a pain depending on how they're set up when you have to remove the scales and then start messing around, because the tension from the springs and getting that all to line up with the pivot when you're putting it back in, it's just a pain. And a lot of companies, Kaiser, CGRB, they figured it out. They give you a D-shaped pivot with 2 separate screws on each side. Now what that doesn't allow you to do, it doesn't allow you to put your nice branding on your pivot. But what it does do is you can actually unscrew from both sides, pull off the scales, and in the case of Kaiser, because they have their adjustable clutch lock, you can actually adjust the spring tension very easily without having to pull the pivot. Everything stays together. You just pull off the scales, change the setting, put the scales back on, screw it all together. More companies need to do that. I know that you like your branding on here, but man, it is just such a pain when you have to take these apart. Now, on that note, everything on here body screws T8 except for the pocket clip. Those are T6. But yeah, everything else is T8, and they were not heavily Loctite, so that's awesome, easy to come off. They do give you an actual plate for the clip when you don't have it on that side. That's actually considering the cost of this knife, $49. That's actually really nice. So, and I will say the micarta on this is just grippy. It's amazing, really good. You do get the micarta backspacer. You do have a lanyard for people who like lanyards. It is not exactly deep carry. You're going to have approximately that much sticking up out of your pocket, but all things considered, it's not too bad. And the clip itself, I think, is phenomenal. I really wish some companies, Sencut, Civivi on the budget side, that you guys would look at doing better clips, because this, when you have this open, no hot spots. It's it's just great. That bill isn't too much. It doesn't snag. At least it hasn't so far. It's just not raised enough, and yeah, it's just great. So all in all, great knife. You can reverse flick it, thumb flick it. You can open it with the crossbar lock. It's just a great knife. And if you want to see a size comparison, just to give you kind of an idea, I pulled out a few here. So we've got, let's go a little bit smaller size. I've got my Para 3 updated AWT scales. Love those. Also some upgraded. It was kind of a joker version, but whatever. I love the purple. It gives it a little pop. Let's do on the lower end. Let's do the CGRB Pyrite. So again, you can kind of see if we line those up. It's a bigger knife. It's not huge, but it's definitely a full-size knife. Bigger than both the Pyrite and the Para 3. So let's go ahead and see it next to a few others. So I've got my Civivi Vision FG, switched out the scales with my other Civivi. Anyone who's old school loves their original Kaiser. This is the Kaiser XL. It's probably one of the closer, at least handle size wise. Definitely a bigger blade on the Explorer. I love my original XL. I don't know why they got rid of these. They're just great. I have multiple versions of these. This is the micarta, super lightweight, easy to carry. Great one. Let's pull over a bigger knife. So this is the CGRB Prado. So anyone who has a Prado, kind of give you an idea of where this fits in. So it's about the same size, honestly, as the Vision FG. I think cutting edge-wise, you get a little bit more with a little belly on the Explorer, but they're basically the same size, just not as much of a finger choil, but definitely smaller than the Prado. You get a lot more, a lot more cutting edge and blade on the Prado. It's just a bigger knife overall. Huge handle. I love my Prado. I did have to, as you can see, add these aftermarket thumb studs just because it's not horrible to get to that spot, but it's just easier with the thumb studs. So love my Prado. And let's see, the only other knife I'll compare it to, this is a new one. I'll probably put a review out on this one as well. This is the Flytanium Beef. So let's get a good comparison there. This I just recently picked up, and shout out to Flytanium. They did help me out. I went to go ahead and sharpen this again. I like a little bit more of an acute angle on my knives, and when I went to pull off the thumb studs, they broke. So Flytanium, no problem. Their bits warranty works. They went ahead and sent me some new thumb studs, so hats off to them. Really good. I like this knife. This is a beefy knife. It's just a really, no pun intended, it feels great in the hand. It's a good thickness, robust. At some point I'll probably upgrade the blade. They just made available their S90V version. This is D2, but awesome knife. But honestly, from a carry perspective, if you need an EDC that's a cross between a real, it's not as small as like a drop bear or something else, but lightweight, comfortable. This one only weighs actually about just under 4 ounces, so 3.99. In fact, let's go ahead and give it a weight. Wait for that to zero out. So let's see. Yeah, so this is actually a little bit lighter, so 3.94. For the blade to handle ratio, that's perfect, and it is not too heavy. It is great. It's not. I have some Spydercos. I got the Mannix, etc., and those are really thick. They could take up a lot of room in your pocket. Not so with this one. Really great knife. Cannot recommend it enough. This one, I'll probably get another version. I love their blue micarta, so I'll probably get the black wash with the blue micarta, just because I love blue micarta. It's just awesome. But this black one, it is so grippy. There's good micarta and there's bad micarta. I would say Kaiser, they do great micarta. This one, don't mind the coloring. I went blue, then I decided not to, sanded some of it off just to give it a more rustic look, whatever. But the micarta itself is great. It's so grippy. This is actually more grippy than that. To give you an idea, the Moyarl blue micarta, it looks nice, but holy cow, this thing, it's micarta, you can tell, but it's so slick. If I'm going to get micarta, I don't want slick. I want good micarta. It needs to be grippy. Otherwise, I'll go with G10 or metal, aluminum, whatever. But, you can kind of see texture-wise. There's just no question. This one's way grippier. This one, not so much. And this has just the weakest springs. Like you don't have to do much and it'll come out. This one, you really have to, I can get it to come out, but you have to really shake it hard. So better springs on this. So overall, great knife. I love it. It's my first CMB. I'm sure I'll probably go back and get the I'm going to go back and get the actual CMB Predator. I'm just trying to decide if I go with the older school crossbar or their newer button lock. I think for harder use, I prefer crossbar, but I've never had their button lock, so I don't know how it withstands and how it holds up. But anyway, that's it. Hopefully this was informative. I know it's kind of random. Let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise, have a great day. go out and cut some stuff, get, legal stuff, get your knife game on, and just make sure if your wife ever sells your knives that she doesn't sell them for what you told her you purchased them for. So that's it. Have a great day, guys.